Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, April 26th. Skipped yesterday. No game with my buddies. One of my buddies was sick, so we called the game off. Instead, I went over to Mom's to pick up mail. I got an order from Cool Stuff Inca, some WizKids minis, and then also because they no longer have it at Sam's, so the reason I quit Sam's is because I needed a gallon of Frank's Red Hot. I just got it off Amazon. It comes in gallons. And then today, I get off work and instead of watching one of my movies here at home, I've watched Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and then I watched Crimes of Grindelwald, and now I'm ready to go to the theater. So I'm getting ready. I'm gonna head out, go see Secrets of Dumbledore, and of course discuss it here. So spoilers coming up shortly. And coming up to the theater, I'm at the Streets of St. Charles, which happens to be the same plaza that has Dewey's Pizza. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. When in Streets of St. Charles, get Dewey's Pizza. And so I brought home some Dewey's Pizza, and I went ahead and got two things I've never had. Half Don Corleone, which is the one that my buddies have gotten a couple times, and half Ryan's Inferno, which is like a buffalo one. So that should be wonderful. Oh, and it came with a ranch for the buffalo. Nice. So I will have this, and I went with the very large one that is always too big because it leaves leftovers, so I should have leftovers as well. But, so I'm gonna have a nice quality dinner. Oh, that's nice. The Don Corleone is good, but not quite as good as either the Dr. Dre or the meatball that I've gotten in the past. The Ryan's Inferno was not good at all until I removed the celery. I was like, I'll give it a shot. You want to say you're putting celery on a pizza? I will try it. I tried it. I did not like it. But it's fine without it. I still feel like when I go back next, I'm going to go back to the same two that I got the first couple times I was there. Now that I'm stuffed, I figure might as well discuss the movie. Secrets of Dumbledore. I guess first to give a rating, I would give it 4 out of 5 stars. Obviously, you use a much more narrow band of rating for seeing a movie in a theater. I don't quite, it's more of an emotional and immediate reaction. And when I'm watching a movie in a theater, I don't have quite the same ability to process it as when I can pause and think and all that kind of stuff that I get when I watch movies at home. But as a gut reaction, I'm going to say 4 out of 5. It was good. I thought about it. I'm walking out of the theater and I'm kind of strutting, kind of proper, right? I just kind of got the air of confidence walking out because of just sort of the attitude that I got from the movie. And I'm like, man, that's good. I thought about 5, but I try and be pretty tough with those, so I'm going to give it a 4. I give out a lot of 4s because if I don't think it's going to at least get a 4, I probably wouldn't go see it. So yeah, definitely spoilers ahead. This movie tells a few stories. The grand plot through the movie is the story of some wizarding election. It seems to be like international election kind of thing. Other stories crucial to it are the story of Credence figuring out who he is amongst the Dumbledores, and the story of Jacob winning back Goldie. So the movie begins, there's a little scene with Dumbledore and Grindelwald meeting, I think, imaginary diner. Anyways, a little talk. Just a little point to just set the record straight and say they have this blood pact that keeps them from taking direct, from acting directly against each other because they made it while they were in love as young men. Then we move to Newt Scamander, some sort of strange jungle somewhere, and he's looking how to find some fantastic beast. A chillin', is it? Anyways, it's a beast, it's giving birth. Some of Grindelwald's lackeys, including Credence, come and kill the parent, and bit of a chase ensues, and they steal this fowl, this young baby, and they leave. Take it back to Grindelwald. While Newt, very injured, crawls his way back to the dying mother and finds that it was one of a twin. So he takes the sibling. The one that was stolen is brought off to Grindelwald, who murders it. Because he's going to need it as a zombie later. Newt ends up back with Dumbledore. And some Ilvermorny professor goes and manages to convince Jacob to rejoin the cause. Because he's just moping around his bakery, missing his girl. Kind of a hopeless romantic. I like Jacob. I like Jacob a lot. So they convince that. Newt's on a train with his brother, who, with Dumbledore, they convinced to join the cause. They got the Leta Lestrange's half brother, who has joined the cause. Newt's assistant, and basically they go over the plot. Oh, I forgot to mention, when convincing Jacob to join, the character repeats here's what's gone on so far, and it's a minute that feels so expositionary, and it's terrible, but also it means if you haven't seen the first two movies, you're not completely lost. And so I'm so glad they did that this time, because they did not bother to do that in the second movie. But this makes it where you can pick up, if you're just hopping in here, you're able to move forward. Anyway, so they get on the train and they're discussing plots, and there's weird things of here, this is for your eyes only, or here's this weird thing that you don't know why you need it, you need to have this. And the idea is nobody knows what everyone else knows, and there is lack of information because Grindelwald can read minds. Well, Grindelwald can see future. Goalie can read minds. Grindelwald can see future. Now, in the previous movie, he would do it by sucking on smoke and have this drug vision. Now it's just there's a reflective surface, I see it. A little sloppy, a little whatever, but they changed it so it happens all the time, and he's just seeing glimpses of the future. But if the future is really uncertain because the people that are enacting it don't know what's going on, then he gets less information and is not as readily able to act based on what's going to happen. So that is the big plot. The plot is confusing, but it's confusing because they're confusing him. And with that, we will delve into the fact that Grindelwald in this movie is played by Mads Mikkelsen, not Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp looked really weird and eccentric and awesome. Mads Mikkelsen's Grindelwald looks like just some ordinary old man that would blend into a crowd and you would never recognize. Very different. Johnny Depp's Grindelwald was silver-tongued. Is this high charisma could talk you into betraying the people you love most. Mads Mikkelsen's Grindelwald, kind of not the greatest at convincing, not a very charismatic person at all. Johnny Depp's Grindelwald was a little more reserved. He had his goals, but in general, where he could be decent, he seemed to try to be decent. Mads Mikkelsen is a monster as Grindelwald. He is so brutally evil and proud of it. So, very different character. I would have preferred continuation of Johnny Depp, but I think seeing Mads Mikkelsen is also interesting. It would also be fine. It's fine in this movie. I'm sure it'll be fine moving forward. But what could have been, because we were presented in the previous movie with a really cool Grindelwald. This is brutally evil villain guy that just looks like anyone else. So a little less exciting, but sufficient for moving the story forward. So, throughout this movie, it is very clear that Queenie and Credence gradually both are kind of losing their affections towards him. Now, there is no acknowledgement of the shift in his appearance or personality, but it is very clear that while the character as played by Johnny Depp was charismatic and convinced them onto his side, the character as portrayed by Mads Mikkelsen is not charismatic, and he is losing them. And I'm like, okay, so your drastic and unexplained personality change seems to be affecting the plot too. So it's clear Queenie wants to get away, and Credence is sending messages to someone and receiving them to someone. Who could it be? Well, when I went to this movie, it's called Secrets of Dumbledore, and my brain was, well, I mean, it could be the obvious. Albus Dumbledore has all them secrets. Could be more of his. But then I was like, or it could be Credence. He's told he is a Dumbledore sibling. So maybe he is the one that has the secrets. I never expected that the one with the secret was Aberforth. Because Credence is a Dumbledore, but he's not a sibling. He's Albus's nephew. Because Aberforth had a son. And from what I gather, never really got to know him because the woman he had him with was gone before he was born. So, it wasn't really his decision to never be involved in his son's life, but it clearly hurt Credence that he wasn't involved. And this is the story of them getting a bit of a connection back. There's some cool action scenes. We go to the Wizarding World in Germany, and there's all sorts of issues of Grindelwald is a fugitive from the law, and the wizarding, the worldwide wizarding community is making the decision to say not enough evidence and say he is no longer a criminal. He is free, and as such, moving forward, was able to join the candidacy to try and become whatever this head wizarding world individual, whatever. He can run for office. Newt's brother ends up captured, and he has to go fight or do a breakout scene with these weird crab monster things and creepy environment. So we get a cool scene with that. And there's points where they end up back at Hogsmeade because they're in Aberforth's Hogshead? I forget. It's not the Three Broomsticks, it's the other tavern. Anyways, that Aberforth runs. So we're in there for a bit, and we get stuff back at the school. Just lots of fan service. Lots of bits of fan service for people that love Harry Potter. They definitely have just little bits here and there. And eventually we pull things forward to, we end up with, moving forward, there's going to be this election. And we find out that this creature that Grindelwald killed and is resurrecting as like a zombie. It doesn't look like undead, but it's like it is being puppeted as a corpse, basically. And therefore, everyone looks at this creature that sees in the people's soul and knows if they're, and can choose who is good, who is right. And this used to be how these elections were decided. But it's such a rare creature, they never have one. Well, we have one. And so Grindelwald is puppeting it to try and lie to people and say that this creature chooses him as leader. Well, there's a second, because it was a twin. And so our heroes each have a case, and one of them is Newt's case that has the creature in it, and the other four are decoys, and they don't know who has which one, and they are all just trying to get to the election scene at the time when things are being broadcast so that they can say, no, that's a lie, here's the real one, and see who it chooses. More action scenes. Some great stuff with Jacob having a wand. It doesn't have a core, obviously. He's not a wizard, but he's got a wand. And that's the wand replica I want to get, because I'm like, I'm not really a wizard. I'm a muggle. And I want to have that, because there's so much... I love him as a character. I love the decision to put a nomage, a muggle, as one of the main characters in this story. I think that was a really wise decision. That has been something I have loved throughout. Anyways, and as they're going there, Queenie finally takes a chance to just talk to him, to let him know he's in danger, he needs to go. And he's like, I'm not going anywhere without you. Because if I don't have you, it doesn't matter. I don't need to be safe if I'm elsewhere. And just being his smooth, romantic self. Because he's a likable guy. I like him. Anyways, they get up there. And Credence steps forward. He's like, and it's a lie. That thing's a puppet zombie thing. You're all lied to. Grindelwald is lying after he's been declared the winner. Grindelwald just sort of shrugs his shoulders. Where's the proof? Just words. Where's the proof? He's like, there's a second one. I don't see it. Where's the proof? And they pull out the case, and they get there. And the case that made it up there is the one that has the... I can't even remember what it's called anymore. The creature, and they pull it out. And, the decision is made. This is all too suspicious. We need to revote. Something's fishy here. So they make the decision, because it's fishy, well, let's not be hasty. Let's do it again. If it's real, it'll be the same result, right? So this creature walks out, and it doesn't go to Grindelwald. In fact, at first, it doesn't go to any of the three candidates that we have. It goes to Albus Dumbledore, and it bows before him, as he is the pure of heart, the righteous, the one with the qualities of a leader. And that makes so much sense, because there are stories in the Harry Potter where Dumbledore has been approached to take leadership positions that he keeps turning down, because he doesn't trust himself with it. But this moment explains why that keeps happening, because this magical beast that says you're the best one to be a leader chose him as the best one to be a leader. And it's something that the community from school-age children know of and follow. And so that is why he has been approached over and again to be a leader, is because this creature told the wizarding world he's the one. But he said, like, you had a twin. There's someone else here that's fit to be a leader. Don't choose me. And so the creature goes and it chooses the lady candidate. Who then basically turns and is like, okay, so first act that I have is arrest Grindelwald for election fraud and also all that murdery evil stuff that he's been doing. And so, and like, as this is going on, Grindelwald turns and tries to kill Credence. Because he's mad because Credence just called him out. Credence has been disillusioned. So he casts his killing curse. He tries to kill Credence. And Dumbledore casts a defensive spell to save Credence. Neither one of them is acting against the other. They are both acting out of harm or aid to Credence. But their spells meet, and the blood pact breaks. They can now act against each other. Grindelwald defends against the spells from all these wizards, jumps off a ledge, and disapparates. He was not able to get control and start the war right then. And Dumbledore can now act against him. Credence is dying. I mean, obviously, since the beginning, he's had the issue, the creature living within him, tearing him apart since he's been a small child. But he gets to reunite with his father. And they don't show him dying, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the next movie, assuming we get another next movie, there should be 2 more. I am very hopeful there will at least be 1 more. They could wrap it up in 1. I would like to see both of them. But I don't expect Credence to live a whole lot longer, but I like that he gets to reunite with his father. He gets that family that he so craved. And then we get back to New York. We've seen Germany Wizard World. We've seen Tibetan Wizard World. That's where the election was held. This giant summit. And then we back to New York, at the bakery. And Jacob's all in a suit, talking to Newt. And Goldie comes in, because Newt's going to be nervous. Why is Newt nervous? Well, Tina's arriving. He hasn't seen Tina this whole time. She's busy being head Aura with the American Ministry of Magic. Magical Congress. So she's been absent from the movie the whole time. And they get the giggles and they get nervous energy as they briefly interact. And man, do I hope she's a lot more present in the next ones, because she was really missed throughout this movie. But she's there to be maid of honor to her sister. And Newt's best man to Jacob. Because Jacob and Goldie are getting married. And Dumbledore's outside and he makes some comments about what a historic moment it is. How it feels like it's just normal. But this moment separates the past from the future because, I guess, laws have been adjusted that in America, a witch and a muggle, an homage, couldn't get married. And so she finally gets her way. And she's back with the good guys. Making a very sappy and happy bit to end on. It was fun. It tugged at my heart, and I like when a movie does that. And we got to see some new cool places in the wizarding world and explore things we've not seen before. It had a pretty satisfactory beginning and setting things up as we needed. The ending, not quite as satisfactory. It definitely leaves things open for there is a bigger battle to come. So they need to do at least one more film. Given number of controversies with the series and individuals within it, there's definitely all the news are speculating, is this going to be the last? And I'm like, I really hope not. It's supposed to be 5 parts. If they choose to make it 4, and we get that epic battle of Grindelwald and Dumbledore, and the next one is the one that has the World War II tie-ins, then I'm fine with that. But I hope they do both of them. That's definitely my preference. But I will be really disappointed if they decide just to drop it here. Because they have me emotionally invested. Anyways. Eventually the movie will be out on Blu-ray. I'll pick it up. And I'll do a little more in-depth opinion review. When I just go see a movie in a theater, I do it. There are, I guess, 5 points on the scale. Because I use decimals in my home review stuff, there's like 100 points on the scale. But I'm going to stick to doing my 5.1 when I go to the theater, because I don't want to have to think that much about it, because I'm just absorbed in the movie-going experience, which I enjoy. Alright, well, it's late. It's all dark out, and it's late. I'm gonna call it a night. But it was fun. Took the time, went and saw a movie. Although it didn't help me get anything moved forward on my shelf. But I'll resume that next week, I suppose. Thank you for joining me, and join me as my journey continues.